Be welcome, the whole worldwide wildlife community, to our space, the 5+ with Rio Verde. I am Jack Hupia from Venezuela, and I welcome you once again to our YouTube space 5+, in which we count 5 species of our wild experience to share with you. The count of today, in our rank of today, we are going to count 5 species of Venezuelan crocodilians. And luckily enough, we have so far 5 species of crocodilians here in Venezuela. We have from 2 different groups. We have alligatorids and we have true crocodilians. So let's get into it. Come on. The number 5 of our rank is, I'll say, the most adaptable crocodilian species in the whole world, the Spectacled Caiman. You can find them in rivers, you can find them in lakes, small ponds, even in reservoirs, very close to human settlement. This is the Spectacled Caiman, our most adaptable species. It actually has one population in Florida, a feral population breeding, an introduced population breeding at Florida. You can imagine how adaptable this species is. And here I have a skull from the Spectacled Caiman. Why it is called the Spectacled Caiman? Well, it's simple. It's because of this bony ridge between the eyes. Someone describing the species thought that this bony bridge here resembled a pair of spectacles, and hence the name, the Spectacled Caiman. Here in Venezuela, we call it the baba. I really don't know where this name came from, but it's very it's spread all over Venezuela. Everybody calls it the baba. Big males, like this one, they can reach up to 2 meters in length. And with this broad skull here, they can crash from crabs to fish to small mammals, snakes. They eat almost every species in their habitat. They are not specialists, but they are generalists. They will eat almost any resource, any prey. Of course, they are carnivores like all the crocodilians, and they can eat almost every species if they can put it in their mouths, get it with the jaws and smack it and then swallow it. That species will be in the menu. Here in Venezuela, we have a management program, and this is a very sticky issue because some people doesn't like the management. The management consists on preserving the population, the whole population. People that have land and even public lands are submit to protection. The population of Spectacled Caiman there are protected by law. Once a year, a small percentage of the adult individuals are harvested. They are harvested for skin and for meat. It looks contradictory because you think, if you want to preserve crocodilians, how is that you're killing them? Well, actually, we have to be open-minded to this, because thanks to this management, the management funds the conservation program for the Spectacled Caiman and other species that live here in Venezuela. And let's keep going with our rank. And the number 4, it's a rather small species of crocodilian, which is called the Smooth-fronted Caiman. This species inhabits specifically in forests, and the scientific name is Paleosuchus palpebrosus. The Paleosuchus are rather small crocodilians with thick bony plates. All crocodilians have these bony plates in the skin. They're called the osteoderms, but in the Paleosuchus they are very thick because Paleosuchus inhabits in this forest when the jaguars prey on them. So they're not big and they're not fierce, they're not very fierce, so they need a defense from jaguars and other bigger animals that want to eat them. And osteoderms act like a shield. So when some predator bites them, it encounters this thick, bony armor. So the smooth-fronted caiman are small, armored reptiles. And going to our number 3, we have another species of Paleosuchus, which is very similar, but it's darker, and it inhabits the forest, the jungles from the south of Venezuela. It's a forest animal. You find them in the deep forest, and they have an association, a very interesting association with termite mounds. The females nest close to termite mounds, so the heat which irradiates the termite mounds helps to hatch the Paleosuchus eggs. So this is very interesting. So from the smooth-fronted caiman, we go to the number 2 of our list, which is the American crocodile. It's called the American crocodile because it's the only species of true crocodile which naturally inhabits North America. But it lives from South North America all through Central America and into North-South America. So it lives from Florida to Ecuador. And this is a species which it likes salt water. It could be called the Latin American saltwater crocodile because you find them in mangroves and you find them in open sea, swimming in open sea. These animals are very tolerant to salt water and they grow lengths, very respectable lengths. I've seen specimens of about 5 meters in length, not here in Venezuela, but in Costa Rica. But once they existed here in Venezuela, specimens as big as that. Sadly, this species of crocodilian was subject to a unsustainable harvesting. It happened in the past, in a time when the concept of conservation didn't really exist. So they were submitted to this unsustainable harvesting and it brought them to the brink of extinction. Right now, there are programs across the whole habitat of this species trying to bring it back. And I saw in Costa Rica that the population was very high. In some places, they were getting even a little bit dangerous for people. So if you go to the beach here in South America, you have to watch for the South American saltwater crocodile, the Crocodilus acutus. For the number 1 of our list, we have my favorite species in the whole world. It's an animal that I really love with all my heart because I've grown with him. And I have to admit that I grew up in a city, so there wasn't any crocodiles. I have to find them, and I went to search for crocodiles, first in books, and then I had the chance of working in this beautiful zoo in Caracas, Venezuela, the Parque del Este, and I lived with crocodiles. I shared my everyday life with crocodiles, and this, which is my favorite species in the whole world, the Orinoco crocodile. The scientific name of the Orinoco crocodile is the Crocodilus intermedius, and this is because the person who was describing the crocodile thought that the snout wasn't broad enough as let's say the Nile crocodile of the saltwater crocodile who have broad snouts. It wasn't as elongated as the gharials from India. So we can say, or the describer thought, that this species was an intermediate between bigger and broader skulls and slender snouts. So we have the Crocodilus intermedius. It lives in big rivers. We can find them only in a little piece of North-South America, in the Orinoco River in Venezuela and in the Meta River in Colombia. So it has a very, very restricted natural habitat. And in that natural habitat, it lives in these big rivers like the Orinoco, like the Capanaparo, like the Meta. And it needs these very wide sand beaches because the females go into these wide sand beaches and they nest there. They dig a hole in the sand and they lay up to 70 eggs. I have counted personally 70 eggs in one nest. And around 90 days later, we have small crocodiles that will face a lot of perils, a lot of danger, because they are going to be the prey from everyone, from herons to spectacled caimans to jaguars. They're going to be eaten by everybody. So the females have to lay a lot of eggs and they nest in the same season. In the past, let's say 100 years ago, there were plenty of crocodiles in our beaches. They were thought to be hundreds, millions of crocodiles, and now they're at the brink of extinction. And this is because of unsustainability. We are not against harvesting, but made in a sustainable way. We are friends of sustainability. So here, where I'm right now, it's like a secret lab where the conservation is taking place. This is the John Thorpe Jarnerson Museum at Atomazaguaral in Guárico, Venezuela. And here is the epicenter of the national program of Orinoco crocodile conservation. Here, the Orinoco crocodiles are being bred so they can be released back into the wild. But this initiative is not going to work if we do not all cooperate with the conservation of the Orinoco crocodile. Don't forget to subscribe and to give us your thumb up. I know you're going to do it because you're going to like our content. My name is Jack Hupia, and this was the 5+ with Rio Verde. I'll see you in the wild world. Bye-bye.